Firstly, welcome everyone. Thanks for coming along this morning, and great to be here with Chelsea Frawley from the Danny Frawley Centre and Dr. Sam Harvey from Black Dog Institute. Very important day for us today, launching SPUD'S game for 2025. We really want to take SPUD'S game to the next level as a club and enhance it with what we're doing with Black Dog Institute now. Also importantly, as part of this game, we'll have a new initiative, which is SPUD'S Ride, which will be a 24-hour event leading up to the game, and Chelsea will touch on that a little bit in a sec. But look, the main aim for us is to build as much public awareness and support as we can for mental health initiatives, and really get the word out there under the theme of don't carry it alone. And that will come through with what we do throughout the build up to SPUD'S game this year. Also, in the last week or so, we've announced a really important partnership with Black Dog Institute. It's a real milestone event for us as a club and for the Danny Frawley Centre, where we will work very closely with Black Dog, particularly in the Victorian market, where they will get exposure and a platform in Victoria. And the Danny Frawley Centre will get the opportunity to expand the reach of its programs and the impact of its programs, backed by really powerful research from the Black Dog Institute. And I'll get Sam to talk a little bit more about that in a sec. So it's a very, very important initiative for us. It was validated last week by the federal government, pledging as part of the election campaign $2 million of funding towards Black Dog to run programs and expand research and impact through the Danny Frawley Centre and with SPUD'S game as well. So, look, very well recognised organisation to partner with. We're very excited about it, and we think that as we go forward with SPUD'S game on the big stage at the MCG, we will make a massive, massive impact in combating mental ill health. So thanks for coming today. I'll pass over now to Sam Harvey to talk to you about the Black Dog.
Thank you. Black Dog Institute could not be prouder than partnering with the Danny Frawley Centre, with St Kilda Football Club and with the entire AFL community. Danny was such a fierce advocate for mental health awareness, for raising conversations about mental illness, and the partnership that we're announcing here between Black Dog Institute, Danny Frawley Centre, St Kilda Football Club is such a wonderful way to continue that legacy. And there's never been a more important time for us to be talking about mental health. Right now in Australia, mental illness is the number one reason people are going and seeing their GP. We've never had more young Australians experiencing depression and anxiety symptoms than we're having right now. Suicide remains the leading cause of death for young Australians. And talking about these facts and trying to find solutions is exactly what SPUD'S game is about. All of the money raised from SPUD'S game will go towards answering those really big, important research questions. What can we do to try and prevent so many young Australians developing depression and anxiety? What does best practice prevention look like? What are some new treatments that we can use to help people? And importantly, not just doing the research, but putting them into action, getting those prevention programs, those new treatments out when and where people need them. I'm going to hand over to Chelsea now to talk a little bit more about the events we'll have around SPUD'S match.
Thank you so much. And a few of you might be wondering why SPUD'S Ride. I'm going to take you back to a story that I hold really dearly to my heart, and it's that when I was training to be a rower, I really needed to find ways to be out of the boat and cross training, and through that Dad and I found a really shared passion for bike riding. We spent 2 hours every weekend cycling up and down Beach Road Circuit, most importantly working on our physical fitness, as I was a rower and that was important to me, but more importantly it gave a 50-year-old man an opportunity to connect with his 20-year-old daughter over a shared love of cycling, and it gave us a really unique opportunity, mostly at the end of the ride with a 30-minute coffee, to talk about the things that were plaguing us across the week, ensuring that we weren't carrying that load alone. And that's what SPUD'S Ride and SPUD'S Game is all about this year, not carrying it alone. We know that mental health is a journey, and the more we're able to share the load, the better outcomes we will have, which is all about SPUD'S game this year. SPUD'S Ride is a brand new initiative for this year. It's a 24-hour bike ride that'll take place from 2 p.m. at the MCG here, riding around the concourse on the 8th of May, and we'll finish on 2 p.m. on game day, which is the 9th of May. And it'll have around 24 different cyclists taking part in a ride that encourages them to bring a mate to make sure that they're connecting with each other through those 24 hours, mimicking what it's like to have a conversation about the things that are plaguing us across the week, just like Dad and I did when we bike rided. I think it was around 10 years ago now, but it's something that I hold so dearly to my heart and take through my life now. So really excited around the partnership with the Black Dog Institute. It's going to further enhance the impact that Dad's legacy will have within the community, especially within the AFL industry. And I want to thank the St Kilda Football Club, Carl Dilena and Andrew Bassett for all of their support in being able to bring this 5th SPUD'S game to life this year. So watch this space. It's going to be an awesome game. Help us fund much needed mental health programs and research out of the Danny Frawley Centre, now in partnership with Black Dog Institute.
Now we'll have questions for Carl and Elf, and then we'll get the boys in after.
How do you see the SPUD'S game developing in the years ahead? How can you sort of get to make a better idea?
We brought SPUD'S game to the G last year for the first time, which was a really important step. We'd had it on a smaller scale in the past, but we'd also had a lot of different themed games that we were operating under. So I think consolidating back to SPUD'S and making that the real focus and bringing it to the big stage was the important first step. I mean, in an ideal world, we'd like to make it the next, Big Freeze. That sort of event where it's a whole of industry effort coming together to raise funds for a really important cause. So that's our ambition, if you like.
And how important is it that it keeps growing, this initiative?
Extremely important. To get something off the ground as a theme game is hard enough because it's quite a crowded market, but also as one of the probably perceived smaller clubs in the competition, there's even a higher bar to get that there. So we've just got to keep working on it, keep promoting it, hopefully playing some decent footy and bringing a good crowd along as well. That's the main thing.
How much has this been driven by a lot of the players as well? I've heard Liam Stocker say that a large part of the reason that he still plays footy is to advocate for mental health. How big is it for the players this week?
Yeah, look, it's a big event. I mean, I think everyone, players, staff, everyone across the industry or general public is impacted in some way or has had experiences with mental health, either personally or with a family or a friend. So I think players aren't any different to that. They're impacted. They are under such extreme stress, as you know, such scrutiny. So for them, mental health and keeping themselves resilient and strong mentally is a really important focus for them. So it is a big game for them too.
Were there times when you were playing footy that you wish there were resources like this around?
Yeah, there weren't a lot of resources when I was playing. So that's a while back now. Look, it's amazing these days the support that players get. It's incredible. There's always been the physical input and the physical fitness, but more and more so now you see the focus on the mental health, not only just from a performance psych perspective, but also a resilience and decision making and being in the moment type of thinking, which is all about building that mental strength and mental fitness.
Just one footy question, I guess, Carl. How do you see sort of the team going at the moment? So I guess 3 years into Ross, making the progress you hope at this point, or?
Yeah, look, it's a bit of a bumpy ride, I think. We always knew it would be a bit up and down. You don't have that sort of straight line, linear progression towards improvement. And so you do go through moments like we are at the moment where it's a bit frustrating and you think we're not performing to what we should be doing. Early in the season we had some great wins against Geelong and Port, and that really set the tone, but it also raises the expectations, so then you have a down week. And we've hit some pretty strong opposition. I think we're just getting a bit, beaten up in the midfield battle, not getting the ball going our way, and that's been reflected in some pretty extreme inside 50 counts the last couple of weeks. So we've got to turn that around. We've got to start winning the ball and fixing up our defence, which has been a bit leaky of recent times. So
Just in that footy game, do you think the boss was maybe a touch harsh on Hugo Garcia with the spray in the Sundays?
Oh, look. Personally, I'll just make a personal comment. I love that aspect. Anyone who's been a parent and has dealt with kids, you can cuddle them and nurture them as much as you like, but occasionally there might be a couple of stern words that go in there as well. And I think, Ross is an experienced coach. He's just driven to get the absolute best out of our players and raise the standards of our club. So for him, being very tolerant and being very cuddly for a while, for him to occasionally come out and just give someone a bake, I think that's good.
There's been a lot said about trying to drag a big name player. Do you still feel that's possible, like Tom DeConning or someone like that? Or
Securing.
Signing a big name player like this.
All clubs, including ourselves, are in the market all the time, looking for talent to bring it in, and we've made no secret of that. So we'll keep doing what we can to bring as much talent as we can to the club, for sure. Thank you.
Zaine, what does Spud's game mean to the Saints?
Well, it's huge. He was an integral part of the club and still is. Even our locker room, there's a big mural of Spud. What he did to the St Kilda Football Club, but also what he did for the community as well. So we're really proud to be part of this, and hopefully we can do it proud.
Coming over from another club, you found that St Kilda has a bit more focus on mental health. You've got Frawley centre there, and games like Spud's game, and there seems to be a lot more commentary around mental health now. What it is that St Kilda can do.
Yeah, definitely. I think, especially the Danny Frawley Centre is a beautiful community hub for people to come to work on physical fitness, but also their mental fitness. There's definitely a big emphasis at St Kilda, but I don't think it's any different from other footy clubs. As Blake would know, there's a big push on getting yourself mentally right before games, and I think it's become a big push in the AFL, and everyone's starting to realise how integral it is to being a good footballer but also a good person.
And Blake, what about yourself? What about the Carlton boys getting involved in this game? How do you coach this much?
Yeah, it's huge for us. Obviously, we've got a few players dealing with mental health at the moment, so it means a lot to us as well. And me being part of the Saints back in the day and having dealt with Spud in the past, and a bit of privilege for me as well to be able to step out there and perform and raise awareness and funds for mental health.
What stuck out to you about Spud back in the day? Jokes
His big smile. I just remember a few stories back in the day, but real jovial type of guy, and we'll be having a pretty important meeting sometimes, and Aaron Harrell will be up there doing his pressure and tackling vision, and then Spud would have got on his laptop earlier in the day and put a photo of Hamill modelling back in the day, so he would slide through to that when he's having a serious meeting. So that's always it was always funny and doing pranks and stuff, but I suppose that sort of makes it a bit scarier, the mental health side of things. He was one of the funniest guys and always laughing and smiling, and then you truly don't really know what people are dealing with behind that. So raise awareness for us and how us players can help deal with that and checking in on mates especially, and you really don't know how guys are really going outside of footy, and so that's sort of where we can step in and help and learn how to help our friends out.
Just make a bit more pointed for Carlton, here, just giving you 42 players taking to extended leave from footy for personal reasons.
Yeah, 100%. As I said, it's a privilege to be able to play out there, and we love these big games, and in any way we can help, we'd love to be able to help, and if we can learn more how to deal with it as well, it'd be great.
Must be nice to roll in on Monday with 3 wins on the trot, knocking over a team that's considered a contender. It's a change in conversation around the boys.
Yeah, 100%. A little bit tired. My little baby had me up at 5:30 to watch the Lakers play. So the baby, he's a big LeBron fan, so couldn't get it done for him. But always good winning a good game against a good side. So it gives us some confidence. And obviously head to Adelaide this week. It's going to be a good challenge, that one. Adelaide are pretty good on their home deck, but I feel like we've been playing good football at Adelaide Oval lately as well. So that's exciting for us. And then we'll get into Spud's game.
And you touched on it before, Blake. Elijah and Harvey were out there kicking goals on the G yesterday. How good is it to see those guys up and about after?
Not just kicking goals, but performing for the whole game. And Harry was absolutely crucial in that fourth quarter for us, taking some big clunks down there late in the game and winning some big contests for us. So having him back to his best it's awesome for the team, but just to see him as a friend and you know, we're close in the locker room as well. So seeing him happy again and smiling and performing well is great.
This goes to show clubs handle players the right way for mental health and everything, and come back fresh and get playing football.
Yeah, I think our club's done an outstanding job, sort of just putting footy aside when they've sort of come out and said they're facing a bit of a problem at the moment, and let them deal with it, and the club supported them and all that, and you see it's come through. It might not happen like that every time. You don't know, every situation would be different, I imagine, and these two guys have dealt with it really well, I think, and both kept training hard when they were away from the club, and yeah, both have come back and started performing good football for us.
What does it mean, I guess, to stand up in that pulsating last quarter yesterday against big club, huge game? What does that mean for the belief?
No, I feel like we've been, it's probably been how we finished the game early in the year, and something we've been going after, just keep playing our way, and our defence has been huge for us all year. That's always been a given for us so far, so we knew we had that in the back pocket, but we just knew we just had to keep performing our way and go back at them. They'll give us chances to go back at them and win the footy, so Cripper was big on that and saying don't step back in this game, we've got to go forward and take the game on, so we kept doing that, and Big George Hill, he's having a great year for us this year, so he's able to kick that goal. I reckon he said he was from 60 metres out. I don't think he can kick 30 metres usually, so yeah, it's good to see him step up as well, and boys finish the game off strongly.
Zaine, how's your recovery track?
Yeah, I'm 3 weeks post-surgery, so I ruptured a pec tendon doing weights. I won't say how much weight it was, but yeah, no, a bit of a freak accident, but these things happen. Club's been really good, supporting me, give me a little bit of time off to do some stuff off field, so yeah, it's a slow progress, but it's getting there. Yeah.
So a sense of excitement around the club. You've got 2 Friday night games in a row and coming into what is a pretty important part of your season, given where you're kind of sitting on the win last record.
Yeah, I think we always want to play in big Friday night lights, big games. So I think we've had a couple of poor weeks, but we've got a strong review today. Obviously Ross has been pretty animated, but I think it's a good thing. Shows he cares. He wants us to do well. We've got certain expectations, and we probably haven't been living up to them. So I think we're really excited, ready for the challenge on Friday night.
There was a report that Ross delivered, and I quote, an all-time spray after the game. Can you take us into that? What did he say?
I actually wasn't there, so
Lucky.
very lucky that had him helmet on. But no, he's he just cares. I don't think it was an almighty spray. That's probably a bit of, let's just say, a bit of mellow on that. But yeah, I think he just cares. He wants to do well. He's come back to St Kilda, help them try and bring a premiership. So I don't mind it. I don't mind seeing the coach animated, because to be honest, we have been pretty poor the last couple of weeks. So yeah, we need to address that quickly, because Freo are going pretty well at the moment.